We have to get to topic number 2 because we got 3 for this episode. Number 2 is lawsuits. So when we talk about business, it's such a cool thing, right? People listening love business. They might see both of you and envy you in some capacity. The thing that I don't envy, and I was literally with Fad yesterday, I was getting a haircut with him at his office, and for an hour on the phone, he's talking about workers' comp. I'm like, what the heck why are you talking about workers' comp and lawsuits and things that are coming in? And you had like 2 servings yesterday.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about the ugly side of business, which I don't know if it's ugly or if it's a positive thing, but a lot of people don't know anything about this, that as a business owner, you get sued. It happens.
Yeah.
Carmen's also a lawyer, so he understands that perspective too. I'm really curious to hear you guys. Let's get 90 seconds each just about lawsuits. We could take it either way we want to go, but we'll start with Fed.
I would say first, look at the billboards they got going on right now. Look at the ads. You know, there's so many injury lawyers. There's so many things. There's so much money in this game now. So people, no matter what, especially in the construction field, their thing is to pretend like they're hurt and then file workman, you know, they got hurt on the job. And then all of a sudden you're going through a lawsuit. And it starts small and then it gets larger. I have a buddy of mine that owns a large roofing company. Guy fell off the roof, was okay, and then 2 weeks later he can't move his arm, he says. You know, and he's facing it. Goes from, you know, 200,000 to the offers get to $1 million and larger, and then they start just, that's how it is. And being an owner of a business is a target on your back. Once you get large enough, you're going to get sued. You can't prevent it.
You can't avoid it?
You can't avoid it at a certain point. It's going to come. So, I mean, that's my big perspective on it. I'm trying to stay within the 90 seconds.
Yeah.
So
that's, well, I don't know how you're going to do this in 90, but
obviously I have a strong adoration for the American judicial system. I would agree that we live in an overly litigious society, and it's because it's now big dollars and big opportunity, and humans can be opportunists, both positively and negatively. I get sued a lot. And my frustration with it is because there is no intentional, wanton, negligent, you know, acts or behavior. Unfortunate incidents take place and that nobody intended to cause or perhaps physically did cause, just nature and circumstances. And there's something to be said, and I endeavor to not bore the audience too much, but there's contributory negligence on the, you know, the complainant's part, and that'll get into a little bit of the work comp stuff. But when government regulation, you know, I think one of the issues I have today with government is business owners work. Like, my partner is the government. I pay the government, my partner, the government, more than I pay anybody else. More than my partners, more than myself. I pay millions and millions and millions every year to the government. And I seek to go within that local government,
sure, and
pay permits and do the process correctly and hire from the local the local community. And then when the government regulatory bodies turn on you and pick on you, because a lot of bureaucrats just think lawsuits, being regulated, and as a result, insurance, like, for example, work comp insurance, is now an absolute part of your pro forma, is now something that you need to start with in your business model, is now something you need to look at in your investments, because ignoring it could ruin everything. Not just the specific company, but ruin you, ruin your employees, ruin the other related contracts. So for me, I don't even, like, it doesn't really faze me. It's such a normal part. Like, we are overly insured. We pay so many lawyers to keep us on track with the evolving and changing regulatory schemes. I mean, I know this just got really boring, but that's something, if you're an entrepreneur, you have to underline, you have to understand. If your business model is $400,000 or $800,000 or $2 million and you don't have insurance, legal, and all the line items, you're missing a monster chunk of your capital raise.
Yeah. And it's interesting because the question I'm going to ask both of you is, you know, are they avoidable? Like, are lawsuits avoidable? And I like that he's brought up the pro forma, because a lot of businesses don't take that into account. Like a bad lawsuit can wipe out your entire business.
No, absolutely. I don't feel that they're avoidable at a certain point. You're going to get some bad apples in your organization that are going to look to, do what they normally do. And they have these workers everywhere. They jump around from employer to employer doing the same thing. And you just got to be careful on what you're doing. I got a story that actually happened to me in Texas, right? I never assumed this, and I never thought that this was serious, because I took it as a joke. But I had a contractor, one of my guys, actually employee, goes into a home. He's in Texas. It's hot in Texas, right? So he's sitting, installing the TV, because we do TV installs too. He's installing the TV. He sits on the lady's bed, right? Because usually a bed is near the TV. He sits on her bed, and he's sweaty, right? And she saw. And I thought, okay, write her a check for something small, because stuff happens all the time. You go, like, guys, put holes in walls and stuff. Little stuff like this happens all the time. Well, all of a sudden,
I have no idea where he's going to go, but I'm fascinated.
Me too.
all of a sudden, we're getting served. Served, yeah. We got served legally that she had emotional distress, and that bed was an heirloom of, like, her family. So I thought, man, maybe like $1,000, $2,000. And then I was looking at Tempur-Pedic beds, $10,000, $20,000. We started with a $50,000 demand letter we got in the mail.
Wow.
And then I didn't take it serious in the beginning. I'm like, we're not paying for $50,000 for this bed. There's no way.
Right.
I wrote a check for $140,000.
You couldn't get out of it?
It would have cost them. They have family lawyers too, and legal, actually, from my attorney, where we were starting to, build up. It would have, we were already $70,000 in legal fees over a bed, and we were really going to court over this thing. And my attorney said, you should just write the check. And that's a lot of times people don't understand as being CEO of a company. Sometimes it's good to just write the check and get the hell out of it, take the sour taste in your mouth, and move on. Because it stinks, but you're going to have to eat it sometime. And that's the only way you learn now. Now we have different protocols in place where you don't do stupid stuff like that. But at the end of the day, that's going to happen, especially in, like, different fields. I know you're more like in the restaurant industry too, right? Things happen all the time with that, right?
Yeah.
Like, they've regulated different aspects of that. So you have to, like, put new policies and procedures in place fast.
But the reason I love the audience listening to this is because you have the luxury of being able to pay that lawsuit off. You have the cash, you have the money.
It took a certain point of time, yeah.